What's up, wrestling fans? Jason Bryant here with you, Hall of Fame wrestling writer, broadcaster, and announcer. And I'll be announcing this weekend at the 2025 NAIA Men's Wrestling National Championship. So while I had some time to prep for that, I figured I'd go sit down, I'd look at the brackets, and I'd show you who I'm looking at and some things to look for as we get ready for the event, which is coming up March 6th, 7th, and 8th in Park City, Kansas, which is just north of Wichita. They've hosted the NAIA championships the last number of years. They've hosted the NAIA women coming up. They've hosted the Division II championships. So the Visit Wichita crew always does a fantastic job in putting on this event. So if you were watching this earlier and there's no history or no record of it, that's because I didn't like what it was going on with it. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start over. I'm going to do this completely clean, start it over, start it fresh, get a little maybe some of this get a little background music to it, some little edgy stuff. But little note about the NAIs, this will be the 68th year of the event. It started back in 1958. Got a lot of history, a lot of details. So if you want to know more about that, I'll be dropping some stuff on the Matt Talk Online Substack. So matttalkonline.substack.com. That is the daily wrestling newsletter. You get the daily wrestling news. Premium subscribers will also get some bonus stuff. I put out stat stuff throughout the year, mainly on Division I, but I also did some deep dives into the CKLV, the Southern Scuffle, which of course are Division I tournaments. But the general point is there's a lot of stats and stuff that I've dug through and compiled over the years that I've fashioned into, whether they be lists, whether they be articles, whether they be answering questions from you. So I threw that stuff out there, and you know, I'm going to have a little fun with it. So while we have some fun, I'm going to jet over to the new screen here. We're going to jump up and take a look at the brackets at 125 pounds is where we'll start. I'm going to take a little sip of the Arnie today. Not a whole lot of production value on the screen, but the Arnold Palmer, half and half. We're good to go. This is good stuff. Yeah, that's bad radio right there, too. So what we've got to do is we're going to pull up the names to watch. So names to watch here at 125 pounds. They're highlighted up on your screen. So if you're just listening, I'll mention who they are. The top seeds are Aiden Reeves of Grandview, Trevor Marsman of Cornerstone, number 3 seed Gabe Gonzalez of Grandview, and the number 4 seed Landon Smith of Embry-Riddle. Again, all the brackets are at trackwrestling.com or naia.org. Wait, if you're unfamiliar with the NAIA and you heard me just say Grandview twice, yeah, the NAIA at the conference level, you can enter 12 per weight class, no more than 2. So you can have multiple entries at a weight. Grandview will have 2 here. They'll have the 1 and the 3. It is not, I mean, I don't want to say it's uncommon. It has happened where teammates have met in the finals. I don't want to say it's common because as we've grown through the NAIA, 25 years ago in turn of the century, it sounds so ancient. Back in 2000, 2001, there were only about 17 schools in the NAIA that had wrestling. We're up over 70 now. It's one of the fastest growing. For a while, it was the fastest growing division in wrestling, and then the women went ahead and just started adding hundreds of programs. So the women are up 100 and something on the NCAA side. The NAIA has 40, 50, something like that. We've got 20-something more in the junior colleges. But the women's growth, a lot of these NAIA schools have added men's and women's programs at the same time. That being said, the NAIA has definitely been unique. Zach Beaver, Zach, what's up, man? Best time of the year is correct. So this is the second weekend as we get to it. Last week, I announced the regional championships, Region 7, Division 3 at the one of my employees, I guess you would say, Augsburg University. And then I got NAIs this weekend, then I go to Providence for D3s, then I go to D1. Then I have a vacation, then I come back and go to Bratislava for Europeans. But here's where we sit at 125 pounds. Aiden Reeves is a returning All-American. He's an Iowa State transfer, finished 3rd last year in the NAIA. The number 2 seed, Trevor Marsman from Cornerstone. That is a relatively new program. Matter of fact, almost every single one of these teams I'm going to mention is a relatively new program. There are some legacy programs. Missouri Valley, for example, Montana State Northern, Southern Oregon. These are schools that have been around well prior to 2000, which is kind of where I drew the line in the sand to start counting new programs. Of course, in Division I, Sacred Heart started in anywhere between 97 or 99. I think it was 99. But as we talk about, Trevor Marsman from Cornerstone, that is in Michigan. He's a two-time All-American, was third and fifth, is the only All-American in their school's history, but he's done it a couple times. Down at the bottom, number 7 seed, Alan Calderon has a chance to meet Marsman early in the quarterfinals. He's a returning All-American, a Georgia native, finished 6th a year ago. He's the 7 seed. Brody Gee of St. Mary, which is in Kansas. He's an Oklahoma native, coached by Chuck Kearney, the head coach of the Spires, who was the longtime coach at the University of Oregon. Gee was 7th last year. And then Clarence Lee Green out of Virginia Beach, 7'5'7", 2 up, 2 down. Actually, a Princess Anne Cavalier, which is the alma mater of my brother-in-law. So knew a little. And shout out Cav fan, the one, the only. He was an NAIA, he was an NJCAA All-American place winner at NIAC, hence the NIACC, North Iowa Area Community College back in 2022. He is the 16 seed. So on the screen, we've got all the stuff up there highlighted for you. So the NAIA and track wrestling's not going to have that highlighted for you, but I'll have it highlighted here, and it will also, I'll link these particular brackets in the show notes at MattTalkOnline.com. Moving to 133 pounds, we'll take a look. And Dominic Chavez of Texas Wesleyan is your top seed. He's a returning All-American. Thaddeus Long of Life. He is the number 2 seed, also returning All-American Junior College National Champion. The 3 seed, Sean Archuleta of Arizona Christian. Aaron Lucio of Southeastern, the 4. Jackson Cockrell, who started his career at Maryland. He's a returning All-American for Grandview. He is the 5 seed. And then you see other highlighted wrestlers. Nick Foster of Graceland was a California Community College place winner back in 2019 for Lassen. Roger Hart of Central Methodist was an NJCAA All-American, was 5th last year. Isaiah Beavers is a returning All-American. He was the 11 seed. He was 8th last year. Cockrell, of course, was 6th, as we mentioned. Long, an NJCAA national champion at Carl Albert State in Oklahoma. He is an Oklahoma native. So those are the names to keep an eye out for at 133 pounds. Moving to 141. As we'll look at things here. If my filter works, you know, you got to multitask up here. I'm not, I'm sitting there. I feel like I need to channel my inner Zach Weaver. Yeah, it's on. Yep. Valley will roll. ValleyWillRoll.com is actually the website for the Vikings of Missouri Valley. Those are the other Vikings in the same Heart of America conference. Of course, Grandview is the Vikings as well. Speaking of Grandview, Carson Taylor is the top seed. He's a 4-time All-American. He is a 4-time place winner. And if you remember the dreaded COVID year, well, the NAIA wrestled that year. So they did not have an interruption or disruption in their championships. They wrestled. And then it was the next week, which we saw D2 and D3. That weekend is where the cancellation happened of that particular championship in 2020. Of course, I've got the speakeasy here. I was waiting to have the after party among all after parties here in Minneapolis. I built the bar and everything, had it set up, ready to go, and we didn't have. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so as we're looking at the things going on here with 141, Carson Taylor has finished 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd. He has finished on the podium very highly 4 different times, and now he's the 1 seed. In his weight is another Taylor he's got to look out for. That is Hartwell Taylor from St. Mary. He's a returning national champion. He won this weight last year as the 15 seed, and it was St. Mary's first national champion as an NAIA program. Evan Potter, the runner-up last year, he's the number 3 seed from Southern Oregon. He's a 3-time All-American. He's looking to hit that podium for the 4th time. This weight is loaded. There's 8 wrestlers in here I've got highlighted that have all sorts of credentials to him. Cale Brisker is an Iowa native, decided to go where it was warm. Take someplace where it's warm, where the wine, what is it? The water beer flows like wine. Yeah, with the salmon of Capistrano. I think that's what that was. Anyway, Cale Brisker out of Wilton, Iowa. He is at Southeastern. He's the number 4 seed. Cade Mannion, 3-time All-American from Oklahoma City, actually started his career with Neil Erzman at Little Rock before heading back to his native Oklahoma. He's looking to place for the 4th time. He's gone 4-5-5 in his first 3 trips. Creighton Brahman is a name to watch from Concordia. Guy's been a place winner at the junior college level, finishing 5th and 3rd while at Iowa Western. Edric Norte, South African native. He started his career at Hastings in the NAIA. He was a place winner last year. And Gage Hudson, 2-time placer. He was 8th back at 2021 at 125 pounds and was sixth last year for the University of the Cumberland. So you got a two-time All-American that is a 15 seed. Those are kind of some dangerous draws. Those are some things you got to keep an eye on. And I've talked about how crazy Division III tends to get. The NAIA is no exception. The NAIA also gets crazy. So we're going to have top 2 and 3 seeds fall. One year we had returning national champions get beat in the first round. So you get some general craziness here in Wichita. Also, Wichita, a great spot. I usually tend to hit Norton's and Central Standard Brewing when I'm here because I'm a craft beer snob, and I do like to sample the local fare. Usually, I'm looking forward to that when I go to Providence for Division III championships next weekend. I'll be flying into Boston and taking the train. So take a look there at 141. At 149 pounds, another weight where we've got number of All-Americans. We have 10 wrestlers that I've got highlighted here, including Nicholas Yancey of Campbellsville. Yeah, he was third a year ago. Nathan Lentz, the 2 seed from Doane, 2-time All-American. Keegan Luton from Oklahoma City, 2-time All-American. Jace Lukow from the University of the Cumberlands. Remember him? Yeah. Won Fargo. Started out at Fresno State. Bounced around a couple places. Was an All-American 2 years ago, finishing 4th at 149 pounds for the University of the Cumberlands. Victor Guzman, junior college All-American from Indian Hills. He's the 5 seed. Darnay Hurd from Grandview needed a national at-large to get in. He's a junior college national champion from Iowa Central. He's Grandview's number 6 seed. Brett Miner, another Iowa Central national finalist back in 2021. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the NAIA, it's going to be names you're going to really pay attention to are Grandview and Life. They've been in the team race the last number of... Well, actually, it's really mostly been Grandview and everybody else, although Life snuck in there. And Coach Omi Acosta's squad broke a streak. It was 9 straight for Grandview back going into the 2021 championships, and then Life picked it up. And then Grandview has won 22, 23, and 24. So Grandview's got 12 titles in the last 13 years. Of course, I'm mentioning this is the 68th year of the championship. Again, I'll be putting information on my daily wrestling newsletter, mattoconline.substack.com, so you can get all sorts of bonus materials, not just from here, but from the daily wrestling news and whatnot. So let's see, what do we got? Okay, Zach's chiming in with the correct quote. There we go. I'll tell you where. Someplace warm, a place where the beer flows like wine, where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. Thank you, Zach. Thank you for the Dumb and Dumber actual quotation. I hate butchering stuff. It wasn't in the script. I was just shooting from the hip there. Other names to keep an eye on. Alex Pena, returning All-American. He was 6th at 133 pounds back in 2021. He's the 10. Mario De La Torre from Southeastern. He was a California Community College runner-up at Cerritos College back in 2023. And David Pearson is unseeded. He draws the 12 seed, Christopher Airy from Moval right off the bat. Pearson was St. Thomas's first All-American 2 years ago. He finished 8th at 141 pounds. So, again, highlighted on your screen are the wrestlers with those credentials that you want to pay attention to as we move to 157 pounds. Working on the backing track. This is, what's it called, backing track? Let's give you a little sample of that. This is actually YouTube safe, too. You won't need copyright strikes on this stuff. So I'm trying to background. Running it through my Amazon Music. There's a playlist for it. It's free. It's called Backing Track. It's just simply what it's called. Found it from a video. I don't want to say influencer, but one of the YouTubers that does a lot of how-to video streaming stuff named Epos Vox, EPOSVOX. He's got some really good content. Donald Griffin of Central Methodist. That is in Missouri. He is the 1 seed. He's a returning All-American. He was 4th 2 years ago. Aaron Gandara is a national place winner, was 6th back in 2022. Started his career at Fresno State, now at Southern Oregon. David Rubio of Corbin has twice been a runner-up. He's the number 3 seed. He's been 5th, 2nd, and 2nd. Corbin is a relatively new program up in Oregon. He is the program's most successful wrestler at this point in time. 4 seeds, Aiden Graves from Providence. The number 5 is Elliot Rogers from Marion. He was an All-American back in 2022, finishing 6th. 2-time All-American Steven Villalobos is the 7 for Life. Life has 2 seeded wrestlers at this weight. Number 9 is Fabian Padilla. He's out of New Mexico. He started his career at Iowa Western, where oddly enough, he was a 3-time junior college place winner. He went 5th, 2nd, and 1 Like won, meaning winning it. Yeah, won and won. Like number one and then WON. Yeah, he was a national champion at the junior college level in 2023. Normally you get 2 years in the JUCOs, but you don't want to say JUCO. But he got 3 because they got the extra year. The NAIA gave the extra year, as did the NJCAA. Cole Price of Concordia is a junior college All-American. He's got, who does he got right here up bat? He's got Rubio right off the bat, so a good matchup to pay attention to there. And Tom Carr's Oklahoma Wesleyan squad, Noah Smith, NJCAA placement out of Carl Albert State, now wrestling for Oklahoma Wesleyan. Unseeded, but he's got some chops to him. So where does Mr. Smith fall? He falls drawing the number 10 Hunter Hobbs of Providence in the opening round. So halfway through, we get to 165. This one has got the returning finalists from a year ago. You got returning national champion Jonathan Curvin from Indiana Tech and Keller Rock from Embry-Riddle, the returning runner-up. They are the 1 and 2 seeds. Cam Robinson of Grandview is the 3. Dylan Witt of Grandview is the 4. So 3-4 there for Coach Nick Mitchell's Vikings. The 5's Anthony Frederico, Southeastern. Number 6 seed is O'Brien Black. It's Turner Black on the brackets, but it's O'Brien Black in your hearts. He's a scrappy dude. He's been around for a while. Matt Jenkins, All-American, is the number 7 seed from Reinhardt. Head coach Jeff Bedard. Down there also with the 7 is Bridger Hall from University of Providence. That is in Providence. That is not in Providence. That is in Montana. That's in Great Falls, Montana. Used to be known as the University of Great Falls until somebody named Providence or some company named Providence gave them some money and named the school after them. So, hey, whatever works, right? Juan Lopez of Graceland is a past California Community College place winner. He was second back in 2021 while at Mount San Antonio College. Then went the Vanguard route, and then they're in transition from the NAIA to Division II, so he is at Graceland. And Brendan Parks from Moval, he was an NJCAA placer for Harper back in 2022. He got an at-large spot. He draws the number 12 seed Weston Melvin of the University of the Cumberlands in the first round. So there, your All-Americans here are kind of dispersed, although you've got Lopez and Keller Rock meeting in the first round, and then Bridger Hall and Matt Jenkins down there. So that bottom quad, that seems to be where the most of the firepower is. Everything else is kind of spread out. Moved to 174 pounds. Back and track, give me some thrash right now. I'm feeling that. There's 8 people here that I've got highlighted at 74, including returning national champion Alex Reynolds of Grandview. Number 2 seed's Trey Morissette of Life. Number 3 seed is Chris Ketchum, a 2-time NJCAA All-American, now wrestling for St. Thomas. That is the one in Florida. They're coached by Nosomi Pozo. He was a 4-time national champion. He won 2 JUCO titles, 2 NJCAA titles and 2 NAIA titles, and then finished up at Life University. So he's down there at St. Thomas. They're the Bobcats, if I'm not mistaken. Not to be confused with the Tommies, which are the St. Thomas school up here about 15 minutes from where I sit in Minnesota. They don't have wrestling anymore. Shadrack Sloan is the 4 seed. He's a 2-time All-American for Campbellsville. Roman Garcia, he was 5th a year ago for Central Methodist. Francis Morrissey is the 7. Graham Calhoun, last year's runner-up, is the 8. And he needed an at-large selection here. So started his career at Wisconsin, but needed an at-large berth. And while I'll say at-large, I've said that twice. So in the NAIA, what you get is you get allocations very similar to the Division I championships. It's based on rankings. How many guys are ranked in the top 20, top 25, I believe. And then the conferences all get the automatic bid. And if they don't qualify, if the conference bid isn't allocated, then that will steal one from somebody else. So it'll slide up. So say if the KCAC didn't have anybody in the top 25, well, they get the auto bid. So then it's the top 24. So that's how it is. But you get X amount of qualifiers per conference, just like Division I does, and then they go to a pool of national at-large selections. So that's how when you say here national at-large, it's very similar to the at-large we have and the Division I selection show, which has also been oh boy, it's been a big part of my time is the preview guides getting ready. So I'm at talkonline.com/guide. And I guess if you're listening to this, let's see. Let me throw a promo code out there. I know this is an NAIA show, but we got a lot of wrestling crossover. So let's see, which promotional code do I want to throw out there for you watching and listening? Let's go podcast. Just use the promo code podcast at matttalkonline.com/guide, and you'll save $10. Let's throw that out there. I have not done a guide for the NAIA. I do think I could probably come up with one. I've got a lot of the data for it. I can tell you that Gray Simons was the first 4-time national champion in the NAIA. From Lock Haven, he was also a 7-time college national champion. He won 3 NCAA titles as well, back when there was no divisions. So Gray was a bad mamma jamma. Back to action. Where was I at? I left off Graham Calhoun. Okay, I was talking about Graham Calhoun being a national at-large. Abel Nava from Providence. He's an All-American. He was 30 a year ago. He's the 11 seed. So that bottom half is just gnarly. Ketchum, Nava, Garcia, Morrissey, Trace Braun. Trace Braun's the number 15 seed, returning All-American. That doesn't even include the number 2 seed, Morissette. So yeah, 174. It's going to be kind of filthy down there. We moved 184 pounds. J.D. Perez has made the move from Ottawa to Life. He was a 3-time All-American at Ottawa, finishing 5th, 6th, and 3rd. He's a New Mexico native, so looking for that 4th podium spot. William Spate from Lourdes. They are the Gray Wolves. They're the number 2 seed. He was 4th a year ago. Long-time runner-up, let's say long time ago runner-up, Tyson Boperthy from Doane. He was a runner-up back in 2021 when he was at Midland. Left Midland, transferred to Grandview, and then now is at Doane for Coach Dana Vogt. He's Colorado Springs native. Doherty High School, where we used to run the Metro. Actually, they still run the Metro. It's a Colorado Springs High School tournament that USA Wrestling runs. And it was, when I was announcing the Metro a couple years, well, it's actually, let me think, what year is it now? It's 2025. Yeah, so like 13 years ago, was broadcasting the Metro, and guys like Micah Burak were out there for Ponderosa. I'm not Ponderosa. He was Coronado. Ponderosa was up just north. Man, I screwed that. That's a bad one. I just screwed up Ponderosa and Coronado. My bad. Sorry, Colorado Springs guys. Sorry, not Colorado Springs guys. That's just I'm gonna have to eat that one. Kyle Knutson from Eastern Oregon is your 6th seed. Sawyer Hobbs the 7. Jameel Coles of Grandview the 11. Adrian Chavez Morales the 13. Rylan Burns of Montana State Northern the 14. Chavez Morales is a California Community College champion from Sac City for Coach Marcus Gales there. That was back in 2023. Cole's a 2-time place winner. He won the NJCAA titles at what is now known as Fort Hays Tech Northwest. It used to be Northwest Tech, and then was 7th last year. Sawyer Hobbs was 6th back in 2023. I mentioned Bo Perthy. He was a runner-up back in 2021. Hobbs was 6th back in 2023. So 8 guys there with some creds. We moved to 197 pounds. Now, last year, actually, it was a couple years ago, that there were 2 entries from Grandview at this weight, and one's name was Ben Lee. And then the other name is, if you're looking at this on your screen, was GK, Garavu Kwekabakalao. That one I needed to practice quite a bit. He is from California. I believe he's originally a native of Congo. So, national champion as well. So he has a lot of letters in his name, and he has a lot of credentials as a national champion behind him. Bradley Antisberger of Doane is a 3-time All-American. He's actually 4 if you count the year he wrestled in CWA with the school formerly known as Dixie State, now known as Utah Tech. Alaska native. Shout out Kalen Baxter. So one of my guys from Alaska I'll see this weekend. His teammate Caston Grape, it was 4th a year ago. Actually outplaced Antisberger last year at this weight class. Antisberger, the number 2 seed. He's gone 4th, 3rd, and 7th in the NAIA. Grape was 4th last year. Elijah Hines of Missouri Valley, 8th and 4th. So he's a 2-timer. Austin Vanek of Montana State Northern was 7th in 2023. Got a couple California Community College place winners here. Again, Eric Karras. Alex Karras was in Webster and played for the Detroit Lions. Eric Karras for Eastern Oregon was 2nd in the California Community Colleges for Sac City back in 2021. Junior College All-Americans, John Lovett of Reinhardt and John Bray of Wayland Baptist in the mix, unseeded. So you see them on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the wrestlers I mentioned are in that top half, including 4 of them in the top quad. So that's going to be a tough one to get out of from that one. So GK's got a minefield already. Garavu Kwekabakalao. When I say that to Nick Mitchell, the Grandview coach, he goes, now you're just showing off. Moving to 285 pounds. This one's going to be devoid of a returning hammer. Greg Hagan did not compete for Grandview at the conference championships. Haven't gotten any clarity on why that is. He just was not entered. He was wrestling throughout the year. He would have had a chance to go for a 5th All-American medal, but that's not to be had. So we go with Gage Braun as the 1 seed from Southeastern. He's a past national champion, returning national champion from 2022. Started his career at Northern Illinois. As a graduate student out of St. Paris Graham, so Ohio native. Ernest Johnson of Life. He was an All-American in 2023. Started his career at Kaiser. Kenneth Copley from Embry-Riddle is the 5, and Tony Rogers. No, Frankie, you don't miss it. You can go back and record it. This is all recorded. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, Frankie. We'll put that on there. Yep. Changing Beloglazov. Yeah, Frankie James and I once were at the NWCA convention, and we were sitting at a table where they deal you cards, and I was wearing a Campbellsville hat. I still have that hat over here somewhere. It might be in the storage room in my box of. I got 200 hats, man. You think I got wrestling shirt today? I got wrestling hat today like crazy too. Tony Rogers of Lindsey Wilson is the other name to keep an eye on here. He is spent some time at Life and at Lassen, where he was a California Community College place winner back in 2018. So if I run through some numbers here, I'm not going to just be done yet. So those are the brackets again. Let's go back on the widescreen here. So let's see what I got in the mind of me as I put out stuff together. So let's run some filters. We'll sort. Again, sorry for the unpreparedness here. I'm just getting this thing done before I got to go pick up my daughter from art class. So Grandview, Life, Southeastern, University of the Cumberlands have qualified 12 each. Doane, Indiana Tech, and Providence have 11. Embry-Riddle and Southern Oregon have 10. Campbellsville, Corbin, Moval have 9. Concordia of Nebraska, Montana State Northern, and St. Mary each have 8. Who's got the most champs all time in the NAIA? Well, right now, the most all-time individual championships, like total champions, have not individuals, but total number ones. Grandview is overtaking that. They have 39, Southern Oregon 36, Montana State Northern with 34, then Missouri Valley with 10, Life and Lindsey Wilson with 10, actually Missouri Valley with 18, Life and Lindsey Wilson with 10. When it comes to all-time medals won, Southern Oregon, one of, again, those legacy programs that have been around since the early days, the dawn of time, back when there were commandments and such that were being etched into stone. Top of Mount Sinai there. 250. I'm not saying that they were old, but they're kind of, that's an established program. Southern Oregon with 250 All-Americans all time. Montana State Northern with 195. Missouri Valley with 170. Then Grandview with 148. Dickinson State with 124, another one of these legacy programs. Embry-Riddle with 98. University of the Cumberlands with 88. Providence, formerly known as Great Falls, with 70. Campbellsville 68. Life 56, Lindsey Wilson 56. So that is what did I do? 10 there? Was that did I just randomly pull out top 10? Yeah, sweet, top 10. That'll work. So that's where I've got for that. Again, I will be throwing out some more stats and such, such as the record book. I helped the NAI redo the record book a couple years ago, and actually probably longer than a couple years ago. Let me think. Who was that? Alan Grossbach, I think, was the media guy then. That was Amanda, the artist formerly known as Amanda Dahl, now Amanda Immel. She's the one who first got me to come to the NAIs back in 2012 when they were in Des Moines. I went to the NAIs, and then I did the West Regional at UNI. That's how I talked to Gary Abbott when I was working at USA Wrestling to let me cover this event. And then shortly thereafter, I ended up on a broadcast. And then shortly thereafter that, I moved to Minnesota and then started coming down when it was in Topeka. Patrick Kelly did some awesome stuff there. I think it's Blind Tiger Brewing. He got me a nice little Maybach from there. I still have the glass. Good stuff. Like I said, I'm a craft beer snob, so I'm going to be hitting Central Standard. I might be hitting Norton's. Norton's got some really good food there, too. And Norton's actually had a collab with Surly, which is a brewery up here. Matter of fact, there's a Surly sign just behind the Kale Wheaties box behind me. Anyway, I'm talking about craft beer. That's not being a real champion of character right now, which is something the NAI also does. They really highlight the servant leadership and stuff. So this is a really fun tournament, folks. And I know that you're going to be overrun with Division I qualifier information, but this is one I love announcing this tournament. You know, I say that one of the better calls I've ever had was Sawyer Miller when he won. It's Miller time. But anyway, I got to go get my kids. I'll see you in Wichita this weekend. Thanks, and enjoy the ride.